Now from the news team that's covering the Carolinas, this is Channel 9 Eyewitness News Saturday morning.
A York County woman charged with murdering her husband. The common product police say she used to kill him that you may use every day. Plus, a packed visit for President Trump in the Queen City. The special moment he shared with local heroes. Taking a live look outside now from our Lake Norman cam. It's going to be another very hot day. Rain could cool some of us off later. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Kristen Lee. Meteorologist Jacqueline Scher is here, and of course we've got the Labor Day weekend. A lot of people getting outside, looking forward maybe to the fact that it will be pretty hot outside.
You know what, a lot of people think of this as kind of the last big weekend of summer, and it is going out with a big summer bang, that's for sure. It's going to be really hot out there, also pretty humid. Here's a look at today's forecast. By 9 a.m. we're in the upper 70s, by noon the mid 80s, and by 5 p.m. we're cooling down from a high temperature of 91 degrees. But the key here is that it really will feel like more like 100 degrees at times. And that UV forecast also very high today, very high tomorrow. So today and tomorrow, throughout the entire Labor Day weekend, the two things you want to keep with you are your water bottle and your sunscreen. But hey, if you want to add a third, that umbrella might not be a bad bet. We do have some showers rolling in. We'll tell you when and where coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, good to know. We'll see you in a few minutes. Thanks, Jacqueline. Breaking news in Northwest Charlotte this morning. Police are investigating a shooting on the Brookshire. Channel 9 was on scene with police for hours near Lawton Road. CMPD says at around 2 a.m. someone fired from a moving car and shot the driver of another car. Both cars were heading inbound. The driver who was shot has life-threatening injuries. Right now, police have not identified the suspect or the vehicle that person was driving. Police had the Brookshire shut down for hours, but within the last 90 minutes, police reopened the road. Channel 9 will share new developments in this case as we get them. Suspects remain at large this morning after shots were fired at this Captain D's overnight. Channel 9 brought you this story as breaking news last night at 11. Police confirmed 2 men robbed the restaurant on North Sharon Amity Road while several people were inside. They say an employee tried to grab one of the suspects. The other tried to shoot her but missed. No one was hurt. This morning, this York County woman remains behind bars with no bond after investigators say she poisoned her husband's water with eye drops. Lena Sue Clayton is charged with murder and malicious tampering of food. Eyewitness News reporter Stephanie Tinoco reviewed her husband's autopsy report.
It just makes no sense.
It's an unusual murder that has stunned people in York County.
Somebody does something like that, that's crazy.
York County detectives arrested and charged this woman with murder. They say Lena Sue Clayton poisoned her husband, Stephen Clayton, with eye drops.
I've never heard anything like that before.
The arrest warrant accuses Lena Clayton of poisoning her husband's water between July 19th and July 21st at their home on Island Forks Road. His autopsy report reveals toxic amounts of tetrahydrozoline, the active ingredient in eye drops, were found in his body.
That's crazy. They're just finding all kinds of ways to do crazy things nowadays, aren't they?
I spoke to neighbors off camera who told me the Claytons were married for 8 years. One woman said Lena attended a neighborhood Bible study and Stephen was known for his big personality. Neighbors told me Clayton's funeral was held earlier this month in the backyard of their very own home before detectives determined his cause of death.
It worries me a little bit that people's out there doing stuff like that.
Stephanie Tinoco, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
In Charlotte today, loved ones will honor the memory of a young woman killed in a shooting last weekend. Family members will release balloons for Taza Bush at 3 p.m. on Fairwood Avenue. She and another woman were shot in an apartment there early Sunday morning. 2 men have been charged in that case. Another murder on that same street happened just yesterday afternoon. Decario Bethia was shot just after 4 p.m. He was rushed to the hospital but died a couple hours later. Police believe Bethia knew the person who shot him. So far, police have not made any arrests. Today, Washington will have one final chance to pay respects to the Maverick, former Senator John McCain. At 8:30 this morning, a motorcade will carry his body to Washington National Cathedral for a memorial service. That starts at 10 a.m. Former Presidents George W. Bush and Barack Obama are expected to speak. The processional will pause at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, where McCain's wife, Cindy, will lay a wreath. Yesterday, McCain's family, including his 106-year-old mother and lawmakers, gathered for a memorial service at the U.S. Capitol. His body lied in state there. Ahead this morning, ABC will air special coverage of Senator McCain's processional and memorial service. Their coverage will start at around 9 a.m. right here on Channel 9. In North Carolina today, friends and family will say goodbye to a woman murdered along with her children. Police in Colorado say Chris Watts killed his pregnant wife Shanann earlier this month. The couple was from North Carolina. They got married here in Mecklenburg County. The funeral for Shanann and her children is set for 1 p.m. in Pinehurst. President Donald Trump packed a lot into his visit to Charlotte Friday, thanking first responders, signing an executive order, and fundraising. Our cameras were there as Air Force One landed. Caldwell County Deputy Jordan Sherrill and Cleveland County Deputy Tim Sims were among the first that the president warmly greeted. Both men were shot in the line of duty during separate incidents this summer.
Glad to be here today. Appreciate our sheriffs and the Congressman Mark Meadows for letting us be here. It's fantastic. It's really been a treat.
And that was Deputy Sims. Yesterday, the Police Benevolent Foundation and State Association created the Deputy Timothy Sims Recovery Fund to help with his mounting medical bills. President Trump signed an executive order on the Harris campus of CPCC to help secure Americans' retirement. It will help small businesses form partnerships to establish 401k plans for workers.
Small business workers will now be treated more fairly and have many more choices. They didn't have a choice.
The president rounded out his trip with a political fundraiser supporting Republican congressional candidates Mark Harris and Ted Budd. The president said during his visit he looks forward to the Republican National Convention here in Charlotte in 2020. New this morning, 3 people are now charged in the death of a North Carolina infant who's been missing for nearly 2 years. 7-month-old Jonathan Clements was last seen in Wayne County in October 2016. New information led deputies to charge Jonathan's mother, Kayla, and 2 men with concealing the child's death. Authorities say they believe the boy was harmed, but they have not said what his injuries were, and they're still trying to find him. This morning, Gastonia police are still searching for the person who shot someone in the back. It happened yesterday afternoon on Mountain View Street near Crawford Avenue. Our partners at the Gazette report the victim was rushed to the hospital with serious injuries. Police have not released a description of the suspect or what led to the shooting. Police say they've arrested a 4th person tied to a series of armed robberies across Charlotte. CMPD has charged Kenneth Armstrong with armed robbery. This is his 8th arrest since 2015. On Thursday, CMPD arrested 3 teens in the same case. Ishmael Chapman, Basim Davenport, and Donquavius Johnson are all charged with robbery. Parents at West Charlotte High School received quite a scare when they learned someone had a loaded gun on campus yesterday. Police arrested 17-year-old Nelson Smith. Officers say he had a semi-automatic pistol hidden in his waistband. Staffers confronted Smith and another student who were ditching class, then called the school resource officer who disarmed Smith. The district says Smith did not make any threats and no one was hurt, but the case still has parents very worried.
I have 4 boys, so I try to talk to my boys all the time about dangers, and just to know that it's sad that why even bring a gun to school? You're supposed to be bringing paper and pencil.
Police are trying to figure out where Smith got the gun. He's been arrested 6 times in the last 8 months on burglary and assault charges. The man police say fired shots outside a North Charlotte Elementary School may face federal charges. Yesterday, Delmont Cunningham refused to leave the Mecklenburg County Jail to face a judge. Investigators say he fired shots at an ex-girlfriend at Villa Heights Elementary Thursday. Sources tell Channel 9 agents are, quote, very interested in putting a detainer on Cunningham. New this morning, Labor Day weekend travelers have brought their complaints to Channel 9, saying they've endured incredibly long waits for Greyhound buses. Our cameras went to the station on West Trade Street in Uptown. We saw a crowd of people inside waiting to board their buses. Riders called Channel 9 and told us they'd waited for 24 hours. We asked Greyhound about the long waits. They sent us this statement overnight, saying increased demand for the holiday caused the delays. They pledged to resolve the issue as soon as possible. They also said they've been hiring drivers to meet the higher demand. North Carolina's troubled prison system is getting some help from an expert. State leaders have hired a nationally recognized leader in corrections as the senior executive advisor to North Carolina's Department of Public Safety. Gary Moore will work with top leaders to reform prisons and make them safer. He has more than 43 years of correctional experience, and he's the president-elect of the American Correctional Association. He's coming in during a time of crisis for the state's prison system, including attacks on prison workers. Today in uptown Charlotte, tens of thousands of fans will gather at Bank of America Stadium to kick off the college football season. Belk is hosting its college kickoff game, pitting 17th ranked West Virginia against Tennessee. The game isn't until 3:30, but the football celebrations, of course, start at 10 this morning outside the stadium. Several roads will shut down because of this. Traffic Team 9's Mark Taylor tells us how you can get around it.
40,000 attendees expected to be at the game this weekend, and we saw the road closures yesterday, and we've got the Fan Fest that's going on as well. Now, the event time this morning is at 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. for the Fan Fest. Again, 40,000 attendees. The closures started yesterday, and they include the streets in and around the stadium, which is Mint Street between Moorhead and First Street. And then you have this section of Graham between MLK and Mint, and then a section of Stonewall between Mint and Church. So again, basically in and around the stadium is the area you'll want to avoid by taking Graham Street over to Trade, Church over to Stonewall to get around those closures.
We're taking a live look now outside from our Speedway cam. Jacqueline Scherer has an update on your forecast from Severe Weather Center 9 for this Labor Day holiday weekend.
Yeah, you know what, the big question over Labor Day weekend tends to be, will it rain on my picnic? And the good news is probably not. We do see some showers this afternoon, though. Here's a look. By about 1 p.m., we start to see that rain pick up throughout the area. Clears up pretty quickly, though. It's probably a late afternoon, early evening storm before things dry out for us. Tomorrow, looking a little bit drier. Here's a look at your morning, though. Those temperatures climbing, so is the humidity. We'll take a look at that heat index, and I'll let you know what you need to know if you're headed out this weekend, coming up in just a few minutes.
A mother turning grief into good. At 7:45, the powerful message she has for you if you plan to go to the beach this holiday weekend. A scandal involving a local used car dealer leaving customers searching for answers.
Why are we getting caught in the middle of all of this?
The massive amount of money the dealership could owe. And next, new insight into the future of UNC's Silent Sam statue, the change UNC's chancellor wants to see.